my camera's in your view.
Oh, I don't see it. I won't see it on the recording.
Oh, maybe because I have a different view here. You can cut all
Yeah.
this out anyways.
Yeah, I could if I wanted to, but I don't really care that much.
All right. Welcome to All Things Conversational,
Hey.
where one entrepreneur's figuring it out as they go, and the other's been around the block more than once.
Yep.
We're talking all things business, startups, screw-ups, and everything in between. Zero fluff and plenty of laughs.
Fluff.
Yeah.
You said fluff.
So, what I thought we could talk about today, I wasn't really into any of the topics that we had potentially lined up.
Okay, that's fair.
I wanted something that was a little more lighthearted.
Okay.
Maybe less on like the, I don't know, last couple times we were doing like business building. Like, what would you do if you were starting from the ground up?
Yep.
Like, what would you tell yourself if you did this now when you were starting out brand new?
Don't do it.
That's not what you'd tell
That's not what
yourself.
I'd say, but for some, levity, we'll call it. So you came up with a subject?
Yeah, there was a couple good ones that we could have done that I thought were good options.
Okay.
But today I thought, let's do shiny objects and the rabbit holes that we go down chasing them.
Uh-huh.
We can talk about some of the things that we thought we needed to make this work, or that we thought would move the needle, or things that we thought were going to be the missing piece.
Okay.
So I know that a big one in this is always tech.
Oh, yeah.
We touched on tech.
Yep.
For me, I think, I don't know if it was a shiny object, but it was more of like something that was taught at the first brokerage I was at.
Okay.
And I don't know that it was necessarily a shiny object, but it was like, it was something that gave the impression that if you do this enough times, it will equal business.
Okay.
And it was like this, it was this kind of meeting presentation thing.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to tell you without telling
Yeah,
you.
I know what you're talking about now.
Okay. And I remember that being one of these, I don't want to call it a shiny object, but it was something that we were chasing.
Yep.
That you were going after, and it was like, just do this, just keep doing this. This will get you what you need.
Yep.
And myself and this other agent were kind of doing this, and eventually you learn that like there's a nuance to this. You gotta do things a little different.
Yep.
And obviously the tech stuff, like.
Well, tech is huge when it comes to this, right? Like ultimately, there's something new every single
week.
day, right? It's just it can get overwhelming. There's so
because
much.
now there's even all the AI stuff that's coming.
Oh
which
man,
I've put the horse blinders on.
Oh, I couldn't do AI right now. Chat GPT is my friend, and not for ad copy. And a lot of people write stuff with that. It's good for cleaning stuff up, but
yeah,
realistically, there's so much in AI that is mind-boggling right now that they need to sort that shit out before I get anywhere near it. Like
Fair.
Chat GPT to me is it's a great Google, right? It formulates great ideas.
Yeah. It's a jump off point.
Yeah, it's a jump off point.
Okay, but did you have anything like, the other thing that gets brought up a lot on my side is like the Facebook ads.
Oh,
did you ever go down that rabbit hole?
So yes, for a little while, and man, when I went and did my taxes, was I mad because of how much money? Because you don't notice it, right? Like
it's like a per day ad spend or something.
Like you put it in, you put the dollar value you want to spend in. Well, when you do it 5, 6, 7 listings, and you just put the dollar value in, and you're like,
it's like $2-3 a day or something.
Well, mine were 7, so like I'm running $150, $200 ads over a couple of weeks. It doesn't take long, but the one thing I found with it is, what a waste of money.
Okay.
And I don't mean that in don't advertise. I just mean that in my business, that 99% of the consumers go to realtor.ca. We have a central platform, right?
Well, and
what are we doing? We're directing people to the central platform that they already know.
Yeah, but the flip side is, I guess that's what you kind of have your social media for.
Yeah.
Is to promote it. I know that's not necessarily your jam.
No. Oh, no. Listen, for me, it's just time now.
Yes.
It has a purpose.
But you yourself have said that you don't like to be the guy in the video.
No. Now this is really taking some of that off.
Yep.
So now videos can be voiceovers. They don't have to be you standing in front of the camera. There's a million different ways to do it. But for me, when I look at it, it's just not my cup of
Not your
tea.
style.
Like I like that, let the house speak for itself.
Hmm. You're
But
here for the house, not for me.
yeah, like, and I don't put my face on my signs, right? Because I'm there to sell a product. I'm not there to sell me. Some of the big teams around, you don't know what they're selling, right? They get it sold, but they don't ever really, tell you what they're selling. So, there's a bit of brand recognition there. But for me, like, technology is the worst for this. And it's not just AI. Like, this goes back even, when I started in the business 18 years ago, Facebook was just becoming something, right?
Okay.
There was no Instagram, there
Hmm.
was no LinkedIn, it was Facebook, and that was all you had. So you could get an edge by using Facebook 15 years ago
So
for
was that the
that.
first shiny object that you sort of
Yeah,
remember chasing?
very much so, very much so. At the beginning, social media was very much the first chase. But now the social media to a real estate agent is the newspaper, right? Like, we don't spend money on the newspaper anymore, or at least, in my mind, you shouldn't be.
Hmm.
So we spend money on social media, right?
So,
And it helps sometimes, right? It helps more with consumer confidence in your abilities, I think.
well, I guess the question is, with you kind of having like to be a realtor, you have to post to social media.
Sure.
That's how
Yeah,
you're marketing your
100%.
stuff.
100%.
So the question, I guess, is, does the shiny object become the boosted ad, the ad spend?
Yeah,
Okay.
very much so. The organic stuff is easy, great. You can have
Yep.
some fun with organic stuff, but any social content that you put out, whether it's stuff like this, or stuff on LinkedIn,
Hmm.
any place where you're putting that out there, that's your online interview, right? So
Right.
it's like
It's like a resume.
it's a resume, right? Like, when I interview people, the first place I go
Yep.
is check them out on social media to
LinkedIn, whatever.
see what their
Yep.
their personally are like, right? So, I mean, ultimately, social media was the first across, and then it became explosive, right? Like, there was a new platform every week. Twitter came out, and then, had to be on Twitter, and then it wasn't Twitter, then it was this, and it was
Yeah.
this, right? Like, I
Hmm.
find myself, the kids say, "Do you want to do a TikTok?" No, the last thing I want to do is a TikTok,
Yeah, I'm not on
right?
there either.
I do Snapchat just for giggles,
Yeah, just for the
um,
fun of it.
for the fun. I don't incorporate it into my work at all. I struggle with putting Instagram into my work.
Yeah.
It's just not
Yeah,
my
agreed.
platform.
I think it's also a necessity just for the sake of growing your
Yeah.
circle of people.
Yeah, I think growing your sphere is good with social media,
Yeah.
right? Because you can connect with people that you may not necessarily connect with on a day-to-day basis anymore, right? Like, it can be people from your past, something from a client in the past. It can be that trigger to, oh, hey, I should reach out to that person because I've neglected them because don't have
Hmm.
them in my CRM. But
I will say the one thing that it's like a buzzword that always it still tickles me a little bit when I hear automation.
ugh,
I love it
automation.
because that's the shiny object to me,
Oh, really?
because I go, oh, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. Like, I think I was telling you about Zapier.
Yep.
Was I telling you about that?
Yep.
And I got it into like this Google form where you can do this, and it like automates 16 different steps.
Yeah.
But holy Hannah, do you end up spending a lot of time tweaking this and setting it up and building it out and fixing it and doing this and doing that. And then all of a sudden you're like,
How many hours have I just spent?
how many hours have I just spent?
It's like websites for real estate agents,
Yeah.
right? Like, real estate agents get, when we first hire them and they're brand new, right? Like, they're fresh meat off the street, and you get this panicked phone call from them. My website's not doing what I want it to do. I'm like, well, what do you want it to do? And they tell me, and I'm like, well, your website doesn't do that. How long have you been trying to do this to incorporate it? We design and plug and play because there's so much that you can do that
Mhm.
you can just easily put in, and you don't have to stress about it.
Yeah. The
And
whole website thing, I've considered getting mine redone.
listen, your website is, again, another online resource,
Yeah, I
right?
just think you've got to be very intentional with it.
Very.
Like, I know for us, we've got ours that's generically branded.
Yep. I was looking at them this morning.
Yeah. And they are, I hate to say this, but they're awful.
The DLC ones are very generic. Like, but they're designed to be that
I
way,
know,
right?
but
Like, they're not designed to be your launching pad. right?
Yeah, but I think I should say, I think it could be something better.
Oh, it can always be better.
Like it could, if I was more intentional with it and I said, okay, what do I actually want it to do? What do I
Yep.
actually want it to show? But then I now worry, is this another shiny object that I'm chasing?
Well, okay, so the website thing is, like it's no, the website's just another social platform. Really, at the end of the day, because you can build it out however you want, you still got to get people there,
Yeah.
right? That's
And
the
this is where I wonder if it's even worth it.
and that's the key is it worth it? Because how many people are you going to direct to your website other than apply now button at the bottom?
Yeah.
Right. I think there's
Yeah.
better ways
Hmm.
for you guys in particular to monetize what you're doing, to get it
Yeah.
into one simple place. Right. I think that, for the life of me, I'm not going to remember it. And I'll tell you afterwards, but there's an app out there that is basically a giant landing page. I think that's more valuable to you than
Something
having
like a click funnel.
it's very much like a click funnel.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that's more beneficial to you
And
than,
it's
right.
funny you say that because that's exactly what we could dive into another day. But
Yep.
the whole thought was, okay, why don't I just make it geared towards specific this
Yeah. So I
and
got an
go boom, boom, boom,
application
boom.
for this. I got
Sure.
this for this. Here's the link. Click here, click here, click here, and then get the detailed page right off your website. And then you stop promoting your website because you then at that point you're clicking that or you're promoting that click page everywhere you go.
Yeah,
Like kind of like Linktree does, right? With
yeah,
links, you're going to do the similar principle. But again, do you need it? Right? And I guess it comes down to what's your business like? Right?
yeah.
How's your business? How do you generate your
So
business?
that's actually a good one. How often do you see people with the shiny object being, I want to be a commercial realtor and a residential and a
Yeah.
land guy and
So here's the thing. I think to kind of to that point a little bit is you have to figure out who you are before you can tell anybody else who you are, right?
right,
You
what your
can't
niche
you
is,
can't
what you
do
specialize
everything.
in.
You will fail if you
Yeah.
try to be the master of all. You will fail at
Yep.
every single one of them, right? But at the end of the conversation with yourself when you're doing this, you have to figure out the purpose. And if you don't have the purpose, then what's the point in doing it? Right? If you can't say that this new toy, I'm going to take this thing right here and I'm going to do this, or I'm going to get this toy and I'm going to get this, and if you can't figure out in your head before you even purchase it what the end value is to you, then it's just a waste of money. So you got to almost work backwards when you're thinking about these things. Okay, let's say I buy it. What am I going to do with it? Right? So is it worth spending $500 to buy this brand new drone
Hmm.
that I'm going to I fell into this trap. I bought myself a $2,000 drone. I have done nothing with it for work because I end up not having the time and
Yeah.
realizing that I'm not very good at it, and I hire somebody to do it. Right.
Yeah.
So it comes to one of those self-fulfilling prophecies where, you
Hmm.
know, I know what the result is going to be because I don't think it through. Right.
Yeah. And at
So
the time you were like, well, I can save myself X amount of bucks. I can do this. I can do that.
yep. Which all
Um,
take me away from doing what my primary job is,
yeah.
which is networking, building relationships, and selling properties. I don't need to be a photographer. I have two DLSR cameras. I have two, not one, but two.
Yeah.
I have a drone. I have two gimbals. I have all the
You're running
tech
like a
choices,
videography place.
and I suck at them all.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Right.
I actually think that's the other shiny object that you end up chasing when you're starting your business is I can do this to save myself a couple
Yep.
bucks. I don't know what you'd call that, but
Inefficient.
yeah, maybe. You're like if I just work an extra hour and I can teach myself this editing program. I can
Yep.
teach myself this. And in some cases I think it's yeah, it was quick. You taught yourself this or that.
Yep.
Um whereas the flip side would be I'm just going to pay somebody the let's say 150 bucks to do it. I'll take the 8 hours I was going to spend doing this and go try to find more business.
Yep.
That was one that I had to get used to.
Most people new in business do.
It's so to me counterintuitive because you're used to going like I'll do it.
Yep.
I'll do it. It'll take me 2 seconds like, 10 hours later.
I call it the CEO of everything.
Right.
You try to be the CEO of everything that you do, and yet you become literally the worker
Yeah, you're
because
working in the
you're working
business
in the
or
business instead
yeah,
of on the
instead of
business,
on the business.
right? And the CEO mindset is I shouldn't be doing that stuff.
Yeah.
My skill set is over here. If
Yep.
I wanted to be a videographer, I should have gone into videography,
Yeah.
right? Like,
18 years
so,
ago.
this project, this our podcast is a perfect example of it, right? It took us 2 weeks to set it up, right? To get it going. It took me 2 nights to figure out the
This
templating of
took us
everything.
longer than 2 weeks to set up.
Yeah, but like the
But
whole,
you know what? Right. I guess if it was condensed into 2 weeks worth of
yeah,
work,
like two
yeah.
weeks worth of work. It took me 2 nights of just playing with Canva
Yeah.
video
Yep.
maker and all that to figure out the template. But here's the thing,
Plug and play now.
now it's plug and play.
Yeah.
So there are times where, you know what, it's okay to
Agreed.
have it to be hands on and not, get caught in it. But there's so many times where I see agents who are, you know, getting hung up on little things as opposed to looking at the big picture. Yeah, you know what? You may not be the best person on video. Then don't be on video,
Yeah.
right? You may not be the greatest public speaker. Then don't public speak. Unless you've got the time to learn that skill or you've got all sorts of time that most of us don't have, right? Like, don't try.
Mhm.
I lost this weekend. Like I didn't get to do anything I wanted to do this weekend for work because I was too busy being a dad,
Mhm.
which is, you know, is
It's
just
a
as
reality also.
important. It's a reality.
Yeah.
But if I was, more hands-on still, I would have lost days and days of work because that shiny object to me is work sometimes, and it's not necessarily something in the work. And sometimes it's just, oh, this idea or this idea or this idea. And
Yeah.
sometimes the shiny object of, getting out of your own head and doing what you know is supposed to work is just as important because you can sometimes say,
Yeah.
go into the office and like, I'm going to do this today. Oh, something came up.
That is that's a big one. Like like the little things that go, "Ah, this, I could do this, I could do this." The stuff that interrupts the
Workflow.
yeah, or the stuff that you're like, "I really should get this and this
Yeah.
done."
That's why, and I think we've talked about it before, where the alone time I get in the morning here,
Yeah, before
right
everybody gets
before
here.
everybody gets
Yep.
here, is the most valuable time. Those 2 hours to me in the morning. It's not so much when Aiden's in school, but when Aiden's starts work at 7 o'clock, I'm here by 20 after 7.
Yeah, drop off here.
Drop off, come here, right, and I've got time in before anybody walks in the door, and there's no big shiny
And
object.
before
So
they even need you.
yeah, before anybody even picks up the
Yeah.
phone and calls. But for us, I think that the big shiny object is it really comes down to idea. Oh, ideas in tech. Realistically,
That's cool.
like the technology we get dragged all over the place. Like
The ideas one is actually
I think ideas are just as important.
that's a big one.
And I'll give you a perfect example. I love conferences. Okay, I love going to work conferences. I think
Mhm.
they're great learning experiences. They're great networking experiences. But you can get what I call conference overload.
Yeah.
And I take my iPad with me and I just write and I just write and I just
Mhm.
write and I start things and I write notes and stuff like that. And I come back with 20 ideas and I try to implement 20 ideas instead of
Yep.
prioritizing
The
and
top
saying
3 or whatever.
what is going
Yeah.
to have the most impact.
Well, we talked about this when I did that kind of was like a month of was that April something like that.
Yeah.
Anyways, when I went no podcast, no
Yep.
nothing,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because it was exactly that.
Yeah.
It was that we are bombarded. We have access to like everything at any point.
Yep.
You can have any business book on, on Spotify, whatever, Audible, whatever you're using.
Yep.
You've got 10 billion business podcasts. Some of them aren't as good as this one,
Yeah,
obviously.
no, absolutely not.
But I remember in April, I was like, we're taking a little break
Yeah.
because it's so easy to get like sidetracked. And exactly what we're talking about today, this little shiny object where
Yeah.
you're like, that's a good idea. I should try that.
Yep.
But you were 2.5 weeks into something else you heard 3 weeks ago,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
Um,
I'm going through it right now in the company with a phone system. And I wish I was exaggerating.
I know, I
have
heard you
spent
today.
3 weeks on a new phone system for the company, right? And it's needed in this case. Like, this is not something that we
Yeah.
can avoid, but it still is a project that should have taken
3 days.
3 days of me just sitting down and going through it. But I get, you get pulled all over the place or this or that or whatever the case may be.
So how do you keep yourself, because I think conferences are, that's something I gotta do more of. I think they're important just
Yeah.
for, I think, a bunch of reasons.
Yeah.
Um, so would you say come out of a conference with not 20, but like 3
No, come out
ideas?
with a 20.
Come out with a
Yeah, come
20.
out with a 20 and then go home and really look at figuring out which the 2 or 3 are that you're gonna put in place and stagger it. So the one thing that, I know a lot of people come out, they come home and they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna do this, 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 and this." And I say to the team all the time, pick one thing, get it up and running, add the second thing a month down the road.
You're almost saying build like a queue. Like,
Yeah.
here are the 15 things I want to implement in my
Yep.
business. Here's number 1. I can't go to number 2 until number 1 is done.
Yep. Or I've got to be wrapping up so that and kind of
Yeah,
having
sure.
so you don't have so in our in business the one thing and I think every business owner would say
That's a
this
good
is
idea.
the ups and downs or the ebbs and flows
Mhm.
are what you want to get rid of.
Yep.
Right? You
Yep.
want to know
Yep. Yep.
it comes down to
Yep.
predictability, right? And we've coined this term, and I coined it in the video that went out this morning. Build a boring business because I know that it's going to be
Mhm.
this, or it might go up a little bit and it might go down. It's when you see the catastrophic boom, and then all
It's
of a sudden there's full blown panic, and
yeah.
you get away from what you are good at because you're trying to overcompensate and fix something because you've got these ebbs and flows.
Yep.
I think that if you start one thing, get it up and running, and just as you're starting to wrap up, you start the lightweight of starting the
Yeah,
next
yeah, this
one.
option number 2.
Option number two, get it to the point where you're wrapping it up so you can implement option number three. The other thing
Yeah,
that
that is
people
a
are
good
going to do
idea.
is take a break.
Hmm.
If you're constantly implementing, you don't get to assess. And the assessment of your work is as important as the implementation.
Yeah, I guess there is like a lag time between the input and the output. Meaning
Yep.
input being what you've changed, what you've decided to do different,
Yep.
and then there's like a little window of it's implemented, it's running,
Yep.
and then there's the delay of did it work? Are you actually assessing it?
And not in the one thing with technology is it's pretty self-evident pretty quickly, right? Like, is it working? Yeah, okay, the phones are being answered. Yeah, the answering machine's working. Yeah, the
I
lines
guess
are
the
all
flip
fine.
side would be if it's a new habit you're building. Like you're
Yes,
trying to implement a new
but
program or something or whatever.
it's also how does it affect others, right?
Yeah.
So when you're implementing something and you're putting it in place, using the continuing the phone system analogy, is you build the vision of what it's going to do, right? How you want it to work, how you want it to service. Until you actually take that program and go live, it's just beta testing and and programming. And the second it goes live, you could be like, "Oh, I never thought of that," or "I didn't think of that," or
Mhm.
because the best planning still has faults in it,
Mhm. Mhm.
right? So until the human interaction on the other side comes in, I'm designing something in a silo right now.
Mhm.
I got to bring 100 people into that silo.
Like right
Uh,
now it works on paper.
right.
Yeah.
So, my ideas don't always, and it's okay when they don't work because if they don't work the way you design it,
Yeah.
you
Back to the
hopefully
drawing board.
you go back to the drawing board or you just on the fly, make it and tweak it because you didn't understand or didn't take something into consideration.
Yeah, I have really latched onto this idea of planning the implementation of a few different things.
Yeah.
I really like that because there's always things you want to add, change, fix, streamline, whatever it is. Whatever you're doing to fix your business, this
Yep.
little thing you're building out of clay. But sometimes you get stuck being like, I'm in the middle of this. I kind of want to start this.
Yeah. And it's okay to have that overlap, but it can't be that the one that you're wrapping up has to still remain the priority
Yeah.
because you've got to see it through to completion.
Yeah. You don't want to leave it as this like
Yeah, but
half baked idea.
when I do business planning with people,
Uh-huh.
right? The list of things that they have for marketing ideas is like about 30, 35
Yeah.
items
It's
that I've listed.
unlimited.
It's whatever you want. I've put this business plan out into people in practice, and they're like, "Yeah, but what if, or what, or if?"
Hmm.
And you're like, "Okay,
Sure.
we can tweak it, but realistically, you've got to set some high level goals. You've got to set priorities for yourself, and the big shiny thing can really interrupt your priorities."
What do you think is the big shiny thing right now for you guys?
AI.
That is it, eh?
It's it. Every I can't tell you how many realtors are like, "Oh, I'm an AI expert," or "I'm gonna do this," or, like, nobody's an AI expert. There
Right.
is no such thing as an AI expert. Tom Ferry built his own AI. Like, I don't even know how you
Mhm.
do something like
Sure.
that, right? And he's feeding everything real estate. Everything he comes into it, he's putting in that AI to
What's the
to
end goal with
learn.
it?
It's a tool for the people that he coaches. So he's putting all this real estate information in
Okay.
and market stats and authors and putting their books in there and just feeding this machine, which is AI,
That's pretty cool.
which frightens the hell out of me. I'm not going to lie, but that's the one right now. That I mean, we've gone through the video phase, right, where all of a sudden now realtors are
Yeah,
getting from
everybody's on them.
everybody's on it or
Yeah.
everybody's doing a video. We've gone through the 3D photography phase. What's next? What
Mm,
what what could possibly be next? Is really AI.
but how is that gonna change what you guys, like, do?
It's not going to change what we do. It's going to change how we present it, in my mind. Right. So you're going to, like with editing, there's so many tools out there that
Yep.
speed up the process of editing anything that you're doing with AI now. Right. And that's only going to get better.
But to me, that is the shiny object on once you've got a listing, I guess.
But it doesn't have to be. What if you're sitting down and doing a video, an information video to try and attract buyers or try and attract sellers or try and attract somebody who needs a mortgage? And you're sitting down and you're like, yeah, I just don't like that background. AI, can you put a better
Mm,
background in there for
I
me?
got you.
Instead of me going back and re recording it, I'm going to just drop in a new
Right.
AI thing over top
Throw
of
a
it.
new shirt on me or something,
Right.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
And as that technology gets better, that's where it's going to make a difference. Is it going to change the interaction? Hell no.
So, is there a shiny object you're seeing right now for like lead generation?
No. In fact, I would say it's actually gone backwards.
Okay.
So every spring, every at the beginning of every year, I like to give some of the shout out to the people that I have learned from over the years. And Kathleen Taylor is one of my top producers.
Mhm.
Every January, she comes to me. She says, "I got no business."
Mhm.
I'm like, "Back to basics," and she's like, "Yep, you're right. Back to basics." And she starts to do the 5 things that she does every single year. She revisits it and starts to do her stuff. And by March, she's swearing at me because she's so busy.
Mhm.
And I'm like, because you went back to basics. You went and did what you
Old
know.
fashioned.
You do it old school. I think in the market where we are right now, in today's market,
Mhm.
it's about those relationships. And the only way to build those relationships is
I think you're
just
right.
talking, right? As where 5 years ago, it was get in front of as many people as you possibly can, throw stuff at the wall through
More
social
like
media.
machine gun. Now you got a sniper rifle.
You 100%. Now everything needs to be targeted. Everything needs to be one of those
Very
situations where
intentional.
intentional, right? So you don't get drawn away by the big shiny object because the person across from you should be the big shiny object.
Well, for us on the mortgage side, I'm going to say 24 and a chunk of 25. The big shiny object, the rabbit hole people were going down was all these renewals.
Oh yeah. And the paranoia of
The
what was going to
paranoia of
happen.
it all, but also this like perceived pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
Oh,
And for some reason, it didn't necessarily resonate with me. I was just like, okay, whatever. And I didn't spend a lot of effort or time on it. But whenever something came across my desk that was like that,
yeah.
I was like, this is so not true because um, the banks in there being super competitive
Yeah.
on retention.
Yeah.
And we had, I'm going to swear here, a snowflake's chance in hell in competing on everything.
Yep.
And I remember thinking, huh, this, like, it was everywhere. It was marketed for every conference, every event, every,
The world was going to come to an end because of the
they were
renewals.
like, the renewals are coming and you guys are going to have, it, there's $14 billion in mortgages coming up for renewal in whatever it was, 24 or
Yep.
25, whatever the year was and whatever the number was. And they were like, this is what you got to go after. This is where the business is. This is that. And I just, again, for some reason, it didn't click to me.
Yep.
It just wasn't one of those things that stuck to my weird head. And then I got to see that it was just so out of left field. And I was like, huh,
Yeah. You guys have done a lot of renewals in the last little while.
we did. But for the most part, people just stayed where they were at.
Yep. Yep.
And that really is what was the crux of it all. Everybody was like, you're going to be able to move them. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. And
Well, here's the thing, retention, right? The banks have them. The existing
Yeah.
lender has them already,
Yeah.
right? So it's easy for them to send a document out. And if
Hmm.
the client doesn't think about it, done. Thank you very much. Send it
Done.
back. I'm
I
done. I'm done in 2 minutes
agreed.
versus dealing with the nightmare of a new lender.
Uh, Last week, 2 weeks ago, I had somebody last minute come up, identical situation.
Yeah.
I don't know if I was telling you about it or not. And I said, okay, we can either renew and we have less than 2 weeks now, or I can set you up like this, and your mortgage is going to go from 10 years to 3. I was like, it's just going to cost you. You have to move lenders, whatever,
Yeah.
blah blah blah. And they were like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just going to stay where I'm at.
Because they didn't want the work or the pressure of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so that was the other side of it. And I remember just being happy that I never chased that shiny
Yeah.
object.
And the thing is uh, the other big shiny object for realtors is lead generation and
Yeah.
buying leads, right? So how many times you get
Yeah.
a
I've heard
phone
really
call?
bad
Oh,
things about that.
horrible. The amount of money that agents spend on lead generation like that they're competing against themselves,
Yeah.
and other realtors for that lead that they're
So
all paying for.
that's the nail on the head. I remember very early on a brokerage talking about what was the website? It was something like CanadaLeadGen.com or
Yeah.
it was something. You could buy leads for like pennies.
Yep.
The expensive ones were like a couple dollars.
Yep.
And you could see how many times the lead was bought.
Oh,
So you could see a lead that was bought 2, 3, 4, whatever the number was. And I was like weeks into being licensed. And the brokerage was like, this is awesome. And once you pass this, we'll start giving you leads, or you can start, sorry, not giving you leads. We'll start allowing you to be able to purchase our qualified leads and
oh,
all this.
qualified leads.
Right. And not until you mature a bit in the industry do you really hear some of the horror stories or
Oh yeah.
the the amount of time or effort or even just the close rate is like single digits on those.
Oh, on a paid lead, 3%.
Oh, that's even lower than I've heard.
That's the number that is
Oh my
the closure
goodness.
rate. That's from Tom Ferry's studies. Yeah, 3%. If you don't know the people, your chances of closing are 3%.
Which makes sense though.
And I was going to say, which totally makes sense because I'll tell you right now, we track ours, and I think I've told you this story. We track our business, and so every source of business that comes into the brokerage, I know not particularly like
Hmm.
I know whether it was a repeat, a
Right.
referral,
New
personal referral,
business.
new business,
Got you.
whatever. Our brokerage right now on any given year, 88 to 91% is repeat referral and sphere of influence. That's it.
Very
91%.
rarely is it just cold.
So when you are going chasing that big shiny object of a lead, 9% chance, right?
That's rough.
And that doesn't include things like open houses and that kind of stuff because you're not paying for those leads, right? So open houses are sometimes 2.5% of our business. Well, now that takes that 88 to 91 to 91 to 94. Now you're chasing 5% of the business, right?
Yeah, but open houses are a weird thing where they're not quite cold, they're more warmed up, but they're unknown to you.
Yeah, they
So
can be
so
100%.
to me they almost fall into this kind of in the middle category that you guys happen to have because you have people who are generally coming to an open house because they're thinking about the market. They're thinking
Yeah,
about buying the
thinking about
house,
it. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So they're
Or they're nosy neighbors.
yeah, or both. But it's not like you've just got the guy walking on the street and you're like, "Hey, do you want to buy a house?"
Yeah.
They're primed a little bit more
It's funny because this
mentally.
is this
At
is
least
the
I
one
assume.
area. No, I agree with you. This is the one area where us and car sales are very similar, right? When somebody walks in the door at an open house, it's like them walking into a car dealership. You got 30 seconds to make an impression. You got 30 seconds to sell the product, and their mind is gone. If they don't walk in, get wowed in the first room, or wowed by you,
Hmm.
chances are you closing that are slim.
Pretty much got a minute.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And it's no different than, when you get a text message and you let that text message sit there for 2, 3 days and
Yeah.
then you go back and respond. You've got 90 seconds, 2 minutes with a text message. You get a little bit of a grace
Sure.
with a email
Hmm.
period, but realistically,
Yeah, everybody knows you got the text message.
yeah,
Unless if you're not responding within, I would go as far as half an hour.
yeah, forget it. What a
Yeah,
waste of time then.
depends how warm the handoff was, I'd say.
Yep, and what the source of the handoff was, right? So
Yeah.
sometimes it's a little bit more tolerable if another realtor sends you the referral and you say, "Listen, I've got a busy day today. Can you let them know I'm going to contact them tonight?" Or somebody contacts you
Yep.
from Realtor.ca, waits 12 minutes, and then is
Goes to
on
the
to the
next
next
guy.
realtor on the
Yeah.
list, right? So the big shiny object can trap you in so many ways, and it doesn't have to actually be something. It can be someone.
So how are you keeping yourself right now? Oh, could be someone.
Yeah, totally could be someone. It can be somebody trying to sell you something.
Like
It
a
could
course.
like a course, right? It could be somebody
I've seen people definitely.
it can be somebody tempting you with the idea of a listing that you know you can never sell,
Oh, that's a good one too.
right? It could be a mortgage file that you guys should
Yep.
never have ever in a million years have touched
Sure.
because the bank you were
Yep.
competing with a bank that was going to outbid you every
Or
single
you
way.
know that you're not a pro on this
Yeah, sure. Like
style or
you guys
whatever.
would never. You guys are at a disadvantage for every commercial deal that you do because you don't do commercial deals.
Yeah.
Most realtors are the same way. That's why there's specialty people that do those,
Yeah.
and not many of them because it takes time to break in and it's difficult. So you do get caught in that.
Hmm.
The next transaction sometimes can be, or the potential transaction can be the next shiny object, right? Whereas you've got 5 listings or 5 files on the go right now. Somebody calls and you're like, yeah, no problem. I can help. And guess what?
Hmm.
That client becomes a nightmare and takes you away from the people that you've already committed to
Hmm.
and their resources. Right. So you kind of have to be careful in that respect too, because, the business that you've got in hand is the most valuable business you've got.
Yeah. They don't pull your focus away from what's in front of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah, that's interesting. I was gonna say, what's keeping you focused and not on shiny objects right now?
Fear.
Fear
Yeah.
of losing your time.
No, a fear of not having enough time with my family.
Okay.
Fear of the vacation that's coming up. That's not an exaggeration. Like it's traumatizing me in my sleep, right? For what sleep I do get.
But it's a powerful motivator.
Oh, 100%. I was talking about it in a session this morning with somebody and they said, like, what are you excited about? What excites you? I said,
Hmm.
getting
This
getting
vacation.
to that 24th of July
Uh-huh.
and knowing that everything is done and I can walk away,
Yeah.
right? Because the ability to walk away from work and focus on your mental health and your well-being
To detach.
to detach
Yeah.
is huge. And I've never done it like this. So this is a whole different ball of wax for me. Like this is so different. Not that it's a bad thing. It's just, it's different, right?
Yeah.
So, you kind of have to adjust on the fly and adjust your thinking when you're doing stuff like this. But it's no different than in business. If you get caught doing the same thing over and over and over and again in business and it's not working, why you keep doing it over and over and over again, right? Just because somebody else is doing it,
Hmm.
right? Like,
Just because it worked for them doesn't mean it's
uh,
gonna for you.
realtors on billboards, right? There was a stretch there where every brokerage had to be on a billboard, and I just said, "What for?"
Right.
Right? Like, why are we throwing money out the window to compete with everybody else when
The only person that's winning is the billboard people.
only people that are winning?
Yeah.
I've never understood buses, park benches, all
Hmm.
that stuff. Sometimes I think we spend money because we need to save taxes.
I had somebody, like a client, a couple years ago. He didn't have a realtor, and I had referred him somebody. The one thing he said is, he goes, "I don't want to use this and this guy. If this is the person you're referring me to, I don't want him because he's everywhere in my city.
Yeah.
He's all. It's not who you're thinking of,
No,
but
it doesn't matter who it is
um,
because the perception
yeah,
killed that referral.
exactly." And I was like, "I don't even know that guy,
Yeah.
but somebody different. You can whatever."
Yeah.
But it funny because it did the exact opposite of what that guy had intended.
Yeah.
It turned somebody completely away from him.
Yeah. And the thing is, because, like there's realtors, I don't know so much. I think this is more of a real estate thing. Um, and we'll get away from the real estate portion of this in a second because I think there's a retail and other
Hmm.
aspects of this. But there's a difference between the guy that pulls up in the piece of crap car
Mhm.
The guy that drives up in the minivan and the guy that drives up in the Lamborghini. And people make those assessments and those judgments based on what they pull up in
Mhm.
without any referral or any point of
Any external
perspective and
context or
nothing. They
anything,
just
yeah.
pull up and oh, that person either makes too much money
Well,
because of the car they pulled up
that's
in.
very big in your industry because you guys pull
Huge.
up in the car,
Yeah, 100%.
right? And,
It's the status symbol.
it's the status symbol, and I spoke about a buddy today earlier, we were talking in my
Yeah.
office, that he had that happen to him. He was showing somebody some houses, and they were like, "Oh, is this your" whatever, "insert vehicle?" And he goes, "No,
Yep.
I drive that truck."
Yep.
And they were like, "Oh, a truck?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "What's wrong with a truck?"
Listen. I have a pickup truck. I drive a pickup truck. I need a pickup truck. The amount of
Yes.
crap that I move around for real estate, for events, for this, for that.
Sure, but also, like, in terms of the general consumer, they're looking at this as like, "Oh, you drive an expensive vehicle, right?" Like, a truck is an expensive
Yeah,
vehicle,
yeah. The
right?
perception, though, right? The
I know,
perception can be
it's
the killer. But I think that so my daughters work in retail, and the relationships that they're building within that retail environment are things that are going to help them in their next jobs, right? The relationship building skills that they build, because
yeah,
for
that's fair.
perfect example, my daughter is going to be coming to become a realtor. That's the goal anyway.
Mhm,
But she works in real estate or in retail.
mhm.
In retail is the same as working an open house.
Yeah,
You got 30
you gotta touch
seconds
them very
to touch them
quickly, and yeah,
quickly, find out if you can help them, and if you can help them, proceed along the way. So you have to make that
read
connection,
the
read the
personality, read the
person
people, yeah.
100%, where
Yep,
the shiny object to them is that person can walk out and go to the next store. Right? Open house, same principle. That person can walk out of that open house. If you haven't made that connection, they're gone.
yeah.
Right. So the big shiny object it is a very broad,
Well, I
concept.
do think you're right in that every industry faces it, and you see it in restaurants
Oh
when you
yeah.
walk in and they have got 15-page menus,
Yep.
and they're like, "Well, our area here is very diverse. We've got these people, these people, these people, these people. I'm gonna serve anything from Greek to
Yep. Italian.
whatever."
Yep.
Yeah. Um, so you're right. That does actually apply to
It applies across the board. So one of the things, in businesses, your product needs to be so good in today's environment that it leaves people going, I can't wait for that product, that service, that interaction.
Mhm,
It's got to be overwhelming to that person to say, I can't do it without.
right.
I can't get that food anywhere but. I
Mhm.
can't buy those things anywhere but here.
Without you, I'm making a poor decision.
Right. Right.
No, it makes
And
sense.
whether you're doing the research or not, the product itself, like I bought a GoPro for the trip. Okay.
Mhm.
Speaking about big shiny objects, I could have done it with my phone, but
Yeah.
this
They'll strap it to you,
strapped on
yeah.
me and that kind of stuff, right? So I bought this gadget, and I was torn between GoPro and DJI. And I buy a
Oh,
lot of
okay.
DJI
Your
stuff.
drone and
My
everything.
drone, my gimbal, all that stuff's DJI. So I was like,
Hmm.
okay, what am I gonna do? I literally went and spent half hour on their web experience
Mhm.
on both of them. GoPro only does GoPro.
What do you mean?
They only do their digital cameras. Okay.
Okay,
When you go to GoPro.com, they sell that product.
that's it. They just do the GoPro
Three,
Hero
four
Blink.
models
Yeah.
of it, different scales,
Mhm.
different packages. You go to DJI,
Drones,
drones,
gimbals.
gimbals. Now they're doing lapel mics, you
Mhm.
name it. They have become a technology supplier as opposed to what they started as, which, if I remember correctly, was a drone supplier. GoPro has cornered their market by being a specialist
Yep.
because they didn't buy into the big shiny object.
They just kept doing what they
They
were
just
doing.
kept doing what they were doing. They didn't get sucked into it. DJI said, "Oh, hang on a second. We
Mhm.
can do this. We can take this and do
Mhm.
this." And consumers were like, "Holy crap. What else are you guys going to
It's
do?"
almost like they're building more of you're buying DJI products, the brand, the
Yeah.
this, the that.
Yeah, it's like going to a car
So what did you
dealership.
decide on?
I bought a GoPro.
You did.
Yeah. Honestly, it came down to they're the same price.
Mhm.
But I had to be honest with you, I had a gift card.
Oh,
I'd been given a gift card, but I was willing to sacrifice the gift card if I thought that the
Yep.
DJI was going to be better,
Yep.
and all of the research I did was
It was probably at, if not slightly worse.
GoPro is the standard bearer of that kind of camera. I don't know why. I wouldn't buy a drone from anybody but DJI. I
Right.
wouldn't go and buy a drone somewhere else. But they really they
They
fine
do
tune
one thing
their
and they're good at what they
message.
do.
They're really good at what they do. And service was like this. It was so easy, everything about it. It was there from San Francisco in 48 hours because it
That's
was literally
fast.
shipped from San Francisco. It was in my doorstep it was under 48 hours because I ordered it late at night.
So it seems like the way to avoid shiny objects is just to put the blinders on, focus on what you're good at.
Planning
Planning.
comes down to your business plan. If you know how much you've got to spend, you can't and what
Mm-hmm.
your marketing plan is and whatever your product or whatever it is, if you plan it and say I'm sticking to the plan, then you don't get sucked in by a lot of that other
I think
stuff.
that's the big thing is also whatever you're going to try to do it for long enough that you can see the results before
Oh,
you reassess it.
so one of the biggest failures I see in business all the time, whether it's real estate, mortgage brokers,
Yep.
home inspectors, you name it, they put a plan in place when they start. They get busy,
Mm-hmm.
and busy's a made up word. I don't
Mm-hmm.
care what anybody says; it's a made up word.
All words are made up, Steve.
No, not this. You ask a realtor, "What? How are you? Busy? What are you doing? Nothing,
Hmm.
right?" Or I'm doing this. Oh, you're doing other people's work. You're doing the shiny
Mm-hmm.
object work. I think that if you really take a good hard look at how truly successful companies are,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm talking corporations,
Yeah.
they have structure,
Mm-hmm.
they have planning, they have budgets,
And execution.
and then execution. They don't get near the execution until they've done the first three things.
Hmm.
You don't execute and then say, "How am I going to pay for it?" Right? And in today's
I mean, you
age,
might if you're starting your business early on.
but you shouldn't be, right?
Yeah.
And one thing about entrepreneurialism is there's no guide to this.
No.
You can try until we're blue in the face. I I had two nickels to scratch together when I started,
Mm-hmm.
right? It didn't until I was in my seventh, eighth year was when I really started to say, "Oh, okay,
I'm starting to get
I'm
this.
starting to get this."
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, paper rich, cash poor,
Sure.
right? That's if you're cash rich and paper poor, that's usually not the way you want to be. So I never got really sucked into that. I got sucked into is always thinking I could make my life easier.
Mm.
And I will tell you that almost every big shiny thing that I've ever bought didn't make my life easier in any way, shape, or form. Other
Interesting.
than this. This is the one device that changed business.
The smartphone.
Smartphone. It changed everything, right? Now you're not competing for a smartphone. Now you're competing for what that smartphone can give you, right? If you go and look at Google Pixel, talks about the camera and how great the camera is.
Right.
Android at one point was because it was an open platform and anybody could build on
Mm-hmm.
it. Google was a protected platform and really controlled the content and prevented technology breaches and all that thing. Every device had it, but now you're looking at devices and going, oh, now Apple and Android can talk properly together because
Right.
of RSCS
Mm-hmm.
messaging and all that stuff. So now the big shiny object of what that was is gone. BlackBerry back in the day, BlackBerry Messenger, right? If you remember BlackBerry and
Talk about dropping the ball, man.
oh man, did BlackBerry fail and fail miserably. But again, that goes back to try to do one thing. That you know what BlackBerry tried to be? DJI.
Hmm.
BlackBerry had the keyboard and
Mm-hmm.
smart screen mastered
They did. The
with
BlackBerry
the
Bold.
curve where you would slide it up and you had the keyboard under it. You had the full
I think that
phone.
was the torch.
No, it was the curve.
Was
I
it?
had one. Oh, yeah, I think it was the curve. I can't remember. But that was the premier phone. If they had taken that technology and put this touch screen technology
Yeah, like the better.
they would never, but they tried to do everything else. And they got outside of what they were really good at, which was BlackBerry Messenger,
Mm-hmm.
encryption, and that keyboard. I could type on that keyboard
Yeah, without
and
even
without
looking.
even looking at
Yeah.
it, right? It was no different than a keyboard. You could feel your way around that keyboard.
Yeah, yeah.
It took me forever to learn how to do that
And it's
on,
still not the
and it's
same.
still not the same because you
No.
don't have that touch, that
Yeah, I know.
feedback that you push the button,
I remember
right?
the early like touchscreen phones would give you like a little haptic feedback. They'd vibrate a bit, and
Oh yeah,
it's
yeah,
just.
yeah. Actually, the iPhone does that
I
still.
think mine can too,
Yeah,
but
I turned it off.
yeah,
It's not.
exactly.
It's nowhere near the same
No,
as that pressing that little button.
that's hilarious.
Yeah, but BlackBerry was a victim of their own demise because of the big shiny object, right? And it wasn't good enough to be the best at what they were doing. They had to
That's
be the
wild.
best at something else.
There you go.
Nortel was the same.
I don't even remember them.
Nortel was a phone company that was massive, Canadian owned,
What happened to them?
blew up, did the same thing. BlackBerry did. Yeah, not to the same kind of technology thing, but there was also more in the background of that company. But usually, when they start to,
We should expand to this market and
yeah, well,
diversify.
look at Nike, right? When you look at Nike,
Their
Nike
golf
went
thing, you were
their
gonna
golf
say?
thing. Yeah, when
Yeah.
Tiger Woods was huge, Tiger Woods, had that whole scandal, the sex
hmm
scandal, and everything else. And guess what? All of a sudden, Nike products weren't as, and they actually ended up pulling out of the club business and all of
Yeah,
that
you haven't seen
stuff.
those in a few years
They don't make them anymore, to
at
my
all.
knowledge. Anyway, I don't think Nike still makes. They might still make irons, but I haven't seen a set in
Yeah, they're definitely
years.
not as popular.
But Nike was running shoes,
Yeah.
and then it became apparel, and then it became now they're buying this, and
hmm
this, right? And I would say that the brand is watered down now because of trying to be more than what you are.
Stick to something like GoPro.
GM's done the same thing. GM at one point bought Hummer and bought all of those companies, only to find out that they ended up closing some of their longest serving. Pontiac's gone. You can't buy a Pontiac anymore,
Yeah, the days of the Sunfire.
right? Oh, my favorite car. I loved that car. I got to abuse that car. Nothing would kill that thing. Rust is the only thing that ever killed the Sunfire.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Corporate takeover killed it.
Sunbird and Sunfire. I had one of each.
Really?
Oh yeah, I had a yellow Sunbird and a green Sunfire. I loved them. You couldn't. They were literally indestructible.
Oh, I remember that, and the Cavalier was around everywhere.
Oh yeah, Cavalier was fun too. And then Sue moved up to a Grand M,
Oh,
which was fun.
my wife had a Cavalier. Cavalier, I think. Anyways.
All right, so the big shiny object in the room is the clock, and we're up against it.
Yeah, I think that we covered a pretty good.
I think we got a good idea there. I don't know whether or not it's going to change anything for anybody.
Yeah, it
But
definitely gave me some ideas today.
and that's the thing, is you walk away with
It
an
gave me
idea.
some things to mull over.
Hopefully other people mull it over too through YouTube and Spotify.
Yeah, YouTube and Spotify.
Yeah.
No, I think, like I said, it's nice to chat about this stuff because it's easier to think about it if you talk about it out loud, and then you go, wait a
100%.
minute,
Yeah.
that was a good idea.
Yeah.
So,
And it's not always our ideas. Sometimes they come from other places.
man, none of them are ever my
No,
ideas.
I'm along for the ride.
All right.
All right.
Till next time.
Peace.
Peace.